Yo, welcome back to Eat, Sleep, Breathe, Hoops with your boy, Nikki P. You know who it is. Y'all saw the thumbnail. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for rocking with me. Let's jump right into it, man. Penny and Shaq, one of the greatest could-have-been duos of all time. So let's jump into everything that led to their greatness and led to their breakup. In the early mid-1990s, the NBA was entering a golden age of personality, talent, and flash. Michael Jordan had become a global icon, and the league was looking for the next wave of superstars to carry the torch into the future. And then, in Orlando, Florida, a new franchise only a few years old, something special began brewing. That something was the pairing of Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway, two young, gifted, charismatic, and electrifying players whose styles meshed perfectly, both on and off the court. Together, they symbolized youth, excitement, and limitless potential. But like many great partnerships in sports, theirs would burn bright and fade too soon. In 1992, the Orlando Magic were a struggling expansion team desperately in need of a franchise cornerstone. They got their wish when they landed the number one overall pick and selected Shaquille O'Neal, a 7'1" monster out of LSU with a combination of size, power, and agility the league had never seen before. From day one, Shaq was a phenomenon. He was breaking backboards, shattering glass, filling arenas, and instantly turning the Magic into must-see TV. Orlando went from irrelevant to exciting overnight. Shaq was dominant, but he needed help. He needed that second star who could relieve pressure, create his own shot, and make the Magic offense dynamic. This is where the story takes an incredible Hollywood turn. In 1994, Shaq was filming the basketball movie Blue Chips, directed by William Friedkin. It starred Shaq, NBA player Bob Cousy, and actor Nick Nolte. But it also introduced the world to a new young talent, Anfernee Penny Hardaway, a 6'7" point guard out of University of Memphis. Shaq had never really seen Penny play before that movie, but once they were on set together, Shaq immediately saw something special. He saw Penny's handle, his vision, his court awareness, and the calm, confident demeanor that separated him from most young players. Shaq later recalled saying something like, "Man, if I could play with this dude in the NBA, we'd be unstoppable," thinking and assuming that he was just an actor and not a real ball player. As fate would have it, that same year, the Magic once again won the NBA draft lottery, back-to-back number one picks. How often does that happen? The top prospect was Chris Webber, a big man out of Michigan who seemed like the perfect complement to Shaq. But behind the scenes, Magic GM John Gabriel and ownership were already considering a different plan. They had heard Shaq's praise for Penny. They knew Penny's skill set could be even more complimentary. A tall, creative guard who could get Shaq the ball in the right spots, run the break, and take over games when it's needed. So on draft day in 1993, the Magic selected Chris Webber overall. But minutes later, they traded him to Golden State for the rights to Penny Hardaway and 3 future first-round draft picks. What a steal, even though C-Webb was a beast in his own right. Shout out to Chris Webber. It was a bold move, one that the front office of the Orlando Magic justified largely because Shaq himself had endorsed Penny. They communicated with Shaq about it, gauging his interest. Shaq was ecstatic. This was the player he had been talking about since the movie set. The results were immediate. Penny entered the league as a polished, unselfish guard with elite size and vision and athleticism, essentially a 6'7" floor general who could post up smaller guards, thread passes to the Diesel, and glide down the court in transition and shoot. Their chemistry was special. Shaq brought the power, he dominated the paint, demanded double teams, and forced defenses to collapse. Penny brought finesse. He'd slash, dish, finish with grace, control it, and dunk on you too. Let's not get it twisted. He'd be controlling the tempo and keeping the ball moving. Together, they were unstoppable in transition. Penny would push the ball, Shaq would run the floor, a 7'1", 300-pound giant beating everyone down the court, and the Magic became one of the most exciting young teams in NBA history. By the 1994-95 season, everything was clicking. The Magic finished with the best record in the Eastern Conference and advanced all the way to the NBA Finals, defeating Jordan's Bulls along the way. The only time in the 90s a team eliminated Jordan in a playoff series while he was active. But like most great duos, success often breeds tension. Behind the scenes, Shaq and Penny's relationship began to fray as fame, money, and ego entered the picture. Shaq was growing into a global celebrity. Commercials, movies, albums, endorsements. He was Superman. Meanwhile, Penny was quickly becoming the golden boy of the NBA, the face of Nike commercials with the iconic Lil Penny campaign voiced by Chris Rock. The dynamic subtlety shifted. Penny, the quiet, composed floor general, started to be portrayed as the face of the franchise, while Shaq, the loud, dominant enforcer, felt overshadowed. There were whispers that Penny wasn't fully comfortable with Shaq's playful personality. Penny was serious, focused, more reserved. Their leadership styles clashed. Then came the money. Shaq's rookie contract was nearing its end, and the Magic weren't offering him the max deal he expected. At the same time, the media began questioning whether Shaq was worth the money, focusing on his free throw struggles, defensive lapses, and lack of a championship. In 1996, Orlando's Sentinel ran a fan poll asking whether Shaq was worth $115 million. An overwhelming number of fans said no, and Shaq took that personally. He felt disrespected, not only by fans, but by the organization for letting that kind of public perception affect negotiations. By this time, the locker room dynamic was changing. Shaq reportedly felt that Penny wasn't publicly standing up for him, that his young co-star wasn't voicing support during the contract drama. Shaq was looking for a teammate to have his back. Penny was trying to stay neutral. At the same time, Shaq began teasing Penny in commercials, little playful jabs that hinted at the real-life tension between them. Shaq's sense of humor was famous, but Penny wasn't the type to laugh at being mocked publicly. Penny, on the other hand, started embracing his own image. He was the more marketable star for Nike, portrayed as the cooler, calmer leader. The contrast between the two only deepened. Eventually, the breaking point came in the summer of '96. Shaq became a free agent, and the Los Angeles Lakers came calling with a $120 million offer, a record-breaking deal at the time. The Magic hesitated. They thought they could negotiate him down, but by then Shaq was done and out the door. Between the fan poll disrespect, contract delays, and growing tension with Penny and management, he decided to leave Orlando for LA. That move, one of the most impactful free agent signings in NBA history, instantly shifted the power balance of the league. Shaq was gone. Penny was left as the face of the Magic, and just like that, the dynasty that never was had already ended. In the seasons that followed, Penny's body betrayed him. Knee injuries derailed his career before he could truly become the superstar he was destined to be. Shaq went on to win 3 championships over there with the Lakers alongside Kobe Bryant, another young dynamic guard who had many similarities to Penny in terms of talent and creativity. Many fans and analysts often wondered, what if Shaq and Penny had stayed together? The answer? They could have dominated the 90s. With Jordan temporarily retired in '94 and '95, the Magic had a window to take over the league. Had Shaq stayed and had Penny stayed healthy, they could have easily won multiple championships. Their inside-out combination was perfectly balanced. Penny's ability to create off the dribble, score, and pass from anywhere complemented Shaq's brute dominance in the paint. And over time, as you saw in LA, Shaq only got bigger and stronger and maintained that athleticism because he was a bit skinnier in Orlando than he was in LA. They were the perfect yin and yang. Power and poise, muscle and mind, dominance and elegance. If they had remained together, the Magic could have been a dynasty, potentially the team of the decade. Even though their partnership only lasted a few seasons, it left a permanent mark on NBA history, so much so that I think they even have a 30 for 30 or a Netflix special on it. The 1995 Magic were one of the most talented, exciting young teams ever assembled. Their fast breaks, alley-oops, and unselfish play inspired a new generation of basketball fans. Shaq and Penny represented what could have been, a reminder that sometimes greatness isn't just about talent, but timing, trust, and the ability to grow together amid fame and pressure. In many ways, their stories foreshadow what would later happen with Shaq and Kobe, 2 megastars whose egos and differing temperaments created both magic and conflict. The Shaq and Penny era was short-lived, but it was beautiful. It was electric. It was what every basketball fan dreams of. A pairing is so gifted, so naturally in sync, that it felt like destiny. But destiny can be fragile. What began on a movie set, a casual connection between 2 future legends, ended in what-ifs and heartbreaks for Orlando fans and the organization. Still, for those few magical seasons in the mid-90s, when Shaq and Penny ran the floor together, throwing no-look passes and shattering rims, the world saw a glimpse of basketball perfection, a dynasty that could have been, and one that will forever live in the imagination of fans who witnessed it. Thank y'all again for tapping in to Eat, Sleep, Breathe, Hoops with your boy Nikki P, and I'll be back with another one. If y'all got some topics that y'all want to see, throw it in the comments or something, hit me up, and I'll get them out there for you. And until the next one, peace.